Welcome, TikTok. We are going to be starting chapter 1, verse 10, and deep dive in the Gospel of John. So, we always start off with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today. We ask that you guide my words and guide me in teaching your word and be my voice so that I can spread your word, Lord. I ask that you are with whoever is watching, and I ask that you lift them up in anything that they are in need of or requesting, Lord. And I ask that you just wrap your arms around them if they need to feel you. We are going to get right into this. Just want to say thank you for everything, Lord. Thank you for loving me, even with all my faults, and everyone that's out there for loving them. In Jesus' precious name, amen. Now, if you were following along, the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 10, is what we're working. So, John 1:10, King James Version, says, "He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not." New Century Version says, "The Word was in the world, and the world was made by him, but the world did not know him." Christian Standard Bible states, "He was in the world, and the world was created through him, and yet the world did not recognize him." For the Legacy Standard Bible, "He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him." Now, in conjunction of that, John 1:10 is one of the most sobering verses in the opening of John's Gospel. It highlights a heartbreaking reality. The Creator came into his own creation, and the world didn't recognize him. The verse sets up the tension that runs through the entire Gospel. The breakdown. So we're doing the Greek breakdown. So, into cosmos in kai ho cosmo dai atu egnito kai ho cosmos aton ok egno. It is spelled E-N space T-O space K-O-S-M-O-E-N. Pronunciation is cosmos, and that means he was in the world. It also is showing against shows continue existence. It says Jesus did not just appear suddenly, he entered a world he already sustained. Okay, so this one is spelled K-O-S-M-O-S. Cosmos. So right now the words together is cosmos, cosmos is what it's saying. Cosmos means world. In John, this word has layered meanings. Creation, humanity, the human system that resists God. That is spelled D-I space A-U-T-O-U space E-G-E-N-E-T-O. Di-atu e-ganatu. So if we read it all together, it should be cosmos, cosmos, D-O-T-E-ganatu. And that part means was made through him. Same phrase used in John 1:3 reinforces Jesus as creator. That one is spelled O-U-K-E-G-N-O. Uk-e-gano. Okay, so if we said it all together, cosmos, 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 di u to e genetu Uk e gano. And gano means did not know / recognize. From Gene Osko, meaning relation, relational knowledge, not just intellectual awareness, recognition, and acceptance. So it says key idea. I cannot read today. Key idea. The world didn't just fail to identify him, it refused a relationship with him. So the next part is historical content. When Jesus came, many Jews expected a political Messiah. The Roman Empire valued power and status. Religious leaders valued tradition and control. Jesus showed up as a carpenter's son, a teacher, and a servant. Because he didn't match expectation, many missed him completely. All right, so theological depth. First of all, the Creator entered creation. This is a staggering statement. The one who designed the galaxies, formed the oceans, created human breath, walked on the earth he made. And humanity largely didn't even recognize him because he came poor. He didn't come, hey, worship me. I mean, in the fact of he wanted to show you how to love each other. He didn't come say, oh, it was me, like how Satan would. Satan would come in and be like, hey, worship me because I'm awesome and I can give you things, and so on and so forth. Second aspect is spiritual blindness. The problem wasn't lack of evidence. Jesus performed miracles, fulfilled prophecies, and spoke truth. The issue was spiritual blindness and hardened hearts. This connects to later verses like John 12:37. Even after many signs, they still did not believe. So let's pull up John 12. But though he had done so many signs before them, they still were not believing in him. That's John 12:37. So that will come eventually for the breakdown. The next one is the next third. I cannot talk today. My brain is just like fried for a Monday. The third step is the tragedy of familiarity. Sometimes people miss God because they think they already know him. People say Jesus and thought, that's just Joseph's son. That's just a teacher. That's just another rabbi. They were close to the light, but still in darkness. How many of us do that? I know that at one point, I went to church all my life. And I will tell you that what I was raised to believe, and I believe, it's not that I don't believe, but the way that I was brought into church, it was more of a religious routine than me actually having a relationship with God. And see, that's the difference between, with religion, it's a routine. Like Catholics have a routine, Baptists have a routine. Every religion has a certain routine. And going by the routine, if you're a child and you're trying to learn things, that's fine. But after a while, it's not about the routine. It's about the, what is it? The intimate relationship that you have. And I didn't have that, and I had a relationship with God, but I didn't have a relationship with God. Like, I did everything they told me to do. Read my Bible. I even wrote journals because I wasn't hearing him, or at least I thought I wasn't hearing him. The problem was I wouldn't shut up enough to listen. I would complain. I would talk to him. I would have one-sided conversations. he did answer. He did love me. I didn't see those answers until I started writing them down in journals. And I did that because I wanted to see if he was answering my prayers or if I was just talking to space. And once I found out that he was answering them. Okay, so we are at the summary table. Phase and meaning. Or phrase, sorry, not phase. Can't read today. Phrase and meaning. So the phrase is, he was in the world. The meaning is, Jesus physically entered human history. The phrase is, the world was made through him, meaning Jesus is the creator. The phrase is, the world knew him not. The meaning, humanity largely rejected or failed to recognize him. Now, this verse asks a personal question. It's possible to live in the world Jesus created and still not truly know him. People may know church, know religion, know Bible stories, but still not know him relationally. The invitation of the gospel is not just knowledge, it's a relationship. Like I said, I knew of church. I went to church. My dad and mom made me go to church. From the time that I know of, I was in church. And I was a very rebellious child. I didn't agree with, I really truly believed in hypocrisy. And I didn't really like church because I felt like everybody that was at church was a hypocrite, including me. I was a teenager that did worldly things. I look back now and some of the disrespect and some of the things that I did, but I didn't know any. I knew better, but I didn't know better. I didn't have that relationship with God to change me. And see, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, that God's not going to internally change you. Like, I grew up in the 90s. I was a teenager in the 90s. So, like, I listened to Godsmack and Eminem. Eminem was one of my favorites. And I was enthralled with the cussing. And, I wanted it original. I didn't want it, I didn't want it tame. Dr. Dre and, Outkast and Britney Spears and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and, Lauryn Hill and so many. I like Ludacris. Like, I listened to the vast of, everybody, and I wanted to hear their actual music. One of my friends pointed out actually to me that, back then I didn't want to change my music. And I was like, I was very hardened with the fact of, like, why would God make me not like my music? I don't want to change that. And here I am now, and I don't listen to that music. I have it, or I used to have it, but I don't have those CDs anymore, due to them getting thrown away accidentally. And honestly, I think that was intentionally by God. Of course, I really do miss my Britney Spears and NSYNC and some of my instrumentals. I had Titanic, and I had this Indian one that I liked listening to the spiritual stuff, or just I like instrumentals. But they all got thrown away, so I lost them all. But I don't miss them. And it's because the more and more I get closer to God, the closer, or not even the closer, the more I realize that those things are of the world. And more and more, I'm learning that a lot of them are putting curses on your life. The lyrics, depending on who you're listening to. If you only listen to gang-banging stuff and think that that's the life for you, then that's what you're going to do. if you listen to all these songs that are I'm unlucky in love, then you're going to be unlucky in love. Like it, you put, when you sing them out, they cursed you. Let's get into the questions. So, why do you think people often miss recognizing Jesus even when they heard about him? The reason why people miss Jesus is because all of us have a pre-notion of what we think God is, who Jesus is. Guarantee you, I probably have my own that. Well, I'll give you an example. Like when people say God, because nobody has seen God, I think of this like huge old man, because people have drawn pictures, old, white, bearded, but light, like so much light you can't even, see him type of thing, that he would burn your eyes out. Kind of like, from the Ark of the Covenant, with, what is the, Indiana Jones. Like you don't look upon God. I don't think that's true. I mean, I know that when it came to the Ark of the Covenant, you could die with the presence if you weren't sinless and stuff like that. But God's all loving. And so if you're thinking of this all-powered God coming in human form, you're thinking, okay, or at least me, he's going to come as born to a king. And he's going to come in and he's going to rule. And he's going to rule with an iron fist because us people are sinful. But that's not what God is. And the reason why we completely missed who Jesus was is because Jesus came down here to show us how we should. Because our human nature is revenge, to get back at someone. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. That is a human nature. But that's what God's trying to train us not to have, is that hatefulness. He wants us to love each other. So you can't show love if you're going to show hate. And unfortunately, this world is full of hate. You can see it everywhere on the news now. Anything that you watch, you have people that want to be in your business and tell you what to do, and be hateful about it, or throw things at you, or accuse you of things. God didn't want us to do that. He wanted us to take the suffering and show love, which is not of our nature and is very hard to do. So that is why we could not, that's why we didn't see him, why we didn't recognize him. He came in like a soft song, and we were expecting him to come in like a roaring lion. Second question. What are some expectations people today have about God that might cause them to overlook Christ? Like I said, we expect God to come in roaring like a lion, and he really comes in like a lamb, like very quiet, very meek. I mean, look at Bruce Almighty. I know it's a movie, but or Evan, Evan Almighty or something like that. They expected God to do all this stuff, and they gave them just enough, and it changed their perspective. But that's what God is. He's there. He's that person that you're crying on a subway and he gives you a tissue. Or, maybe you had the worst day ever. You got fired from work, and someone comes up to you and just, gives you an encouraging word. That's God. That's God through people. He uses everybody to help. God takes situations and turns them into, God takes bad situations and turns them into good situations if you allow him to. So, let's go to the next question. How is it possible to know about Jesus but still not truly know him? So, it comes down to what you're willing to allow to believe. So, there's people, and I'm shocked on this because I know people that do not believe that Jesus of Nazareth was real at all. I'm completely shocked on that because I didn't think that was a High War Angel legacy. I didn't think that was possible because Jesus of Nazareth is actually in the actual history books outside of the Bible. He's in the history books. So I am very confused on how in the world Jesus of Nazareth is not to be believed. But there are people out there that believe that he was never a real person, but history shows he was. So if there's people out there that believe that he was never a real person, the people that actually physically walked with him and saw him, but didn't really, they just saw that he could do miracles and he could do this and he could do that. The fact that they expected him to do more. Look at Judas. Judas sold Jesus in for 32 pieces of silver because he wanted Jesus to take them out of Rome's captor. And that's not why Jesus came. Jesus came to save our souls. But he didn't understand that. So after he realized what he did, he took his life. He didn't give God a chance to forgive him. But that's the problem with our prejudgments, is that we don't see beyond the forest. We can't see beyond the forest because we're too busy having our own views. And that's why a lot of things that happen out of miracles, like Jesus loved Lazarus and he waited 2 days extra to make sure Lazarus died because everybody saw him making miracles. The man that could heal, the man that, could make lame walk, the man that, healed completely the sick, all of that. But they had never seen a person raise someone from the dead. And so even though he loved Lazarus, he waited 2 days so he could raise Lazarus from the dead to show people he was not just some person that had magical powers. Because, some of the stuff that he did, the demons could do too. If they wanted to. They don't want to, unless they're trying to mock Jesus. So that is why I believe how it's possible to know about Jesus but still not truly know him. If Judas could walk with Jesus for 3 years and know him but not know him, and we don't even get to see him, and we just go by what preachers preach. If you don't open this Bible up and try to figure out who God is and who Jesus is, and you just go to church because someone told you to do it, you're never going to have that relationship with God. And if you don't have that relationship with God, guess what? When you go to heaven and Jesus is supposed to vouch for you, he's going to say, I never knew you. And then you get to spend eternity somewhere other than heaven. So I would advise you to open this book and get to actually knowing Jesus, not just know who he is. Number 4. Have you ever had a moment where your understanding of Jesus became more personal and real? Yeah. Multiple times. But the clearest one was when he decided to show up on the roof. I'm never going to live that one down. And I was telling one of my friends the other day about that. How he was using one of my friends to talk to me about a relationship that I had. And I was arguing with her because she was like, well, I wish that I had what you had. And I was like, really, you don't? And he was like, and then it turned into her asking, well, when did he actually accept Jesus into your heart? And I remember that. And so I told her. And then she responded, she's like, no, that's not when he accepted me into his heart. And I was all ready to, yell back, argue back, whatever you want to call it. I was like, no, I know exactly. And then my brain started doing the turning. She didn't say, what she knew. It says when he accepted me into his heart. And I was like, uh-oh. I'm not talking to my friend anymore. I am talking to someone else. And that was a butt pucker. I will tell you that. That was a butt. And he's talked to me multiple times before that, or after that, actually, after my mom passed away. And there was things that was materialistic, and he was like, why are you acting like a fool? Stop acting like a fool. Yes, I have had moments where I understood, where you understand Jesus and became more personal and real. And that's, I can't deny that I've had conversations. I mean, most people outside of that will probably look at me like I'm a Lulu, but I know my experiences and I know that I talk to him. And that's not going to change anything. All right, so we are on the last question. How can we help others recognize the light when the world often overlooks him? Kind word. When God tells you to do something, you do it. Don't hesitate. First of all, when God is speaking to you, when you have that intimate relationship with God, and he tells you to do something and you don't do it, you're breaking your own blessings. You're breaking the blessing that he wants to do to that person, and you're breaking the blessing of him to bless you because you're being obedient. So there's two blessings going on there. If you hear a small voice in your head, let's say you're traveling, let's say that you just came out of the store. Let's say a grocery store. And let's say that you have like a load of groceries in your thing. And then you hear a small voice say, I want you to give that bag, and that bag to that person right there that's sitting next to you. Just minding their own business. They're not doing anything. They don't look homeless. They're not asking for anything. They're just sitting there chilling. Like maybe smoking a cigarette, or maybe just playing on their phone, whatever they're doing. And God tells you, I want you to take those bags and I want you to hand it to them. You don't remember what's in the bag. You just know that those are the 5 bags he tells you to hand. And you do it, right? And then down the line, you get blessed. You bless that person. You don't know. I've had many, many times encounters where someone came up to me, and I don't know where she is today, but I was going in to get pictures for my son, and I had $20 in cash that I didn't really want to give up because it was, I liked having cash on me in case of emergencies. And and I get tired of people coming up and begging for money. I really, really do. It frustrates me. But at the same time, if God speaks to me, that's a different story. This girl comes up, asks if I have 20. I did not have 20 at that time on me. I had it in the car, and I wasn't near my car. So I told her no. I go in, get the pictures for my son, come back out. She's still walking around, and I was getting ready to just go to my car and leave. And then God was like, no, go talk to her. And I was like, okay. And so I started asking. I was like, so I know that you're saying that you need $20. Why do you need $20? What's going on? She's like, I just got hired at the Hardee's across the street. But the problem is that I have to have a uniform, I have to have shoes, and I have to do that. We were right next to a department store. And so I said, well, how about I do this? How about I take you in and we get your sizes of what you need? So I take her in, I buy her shoes, I buy her pants, I buy her all the things that she needs for work because they're going to give her the shirt. And then after I do that, I'm thinking I'm done. And God's like, go give her the $20. I was like, but okay. So I said, one moment, and go to the car, and I give her the $20. Now, I don't know what happened of her. I'm hoping she did well. I'm hoping that job did well for her. I don't know. All I know is that God told me to do it. I did it and took care of her. That is one way of showing people God's love, showing the light through you from Him, because that's God. How can we help others recognize the light when the world often overlooks Him? Show love. Show love. Clear and simple. Just show love. All right, so that was the last question. We are at the hour, close to it. Okay, all right, so let's bow our heads and say, Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today. I want to thank you for this fellowship that I had with all my TikTok people. Lord, I lift each and every one of them up to you, Lord. The ones that are watching now, the ones that are going to watch later, Lord. You know their needs before they know their needs. So, Lord, I lift them up to you. I hold them high. Anything that they're asking, Lord, I ask that you grant it in your will, if it's your will for them. Lord, I ask that just embrace them and let them know and let them feel you throughout the week, and just show them the love and send people to them that can show them the light if they don't see the light. In Jesus' precious name, amen. All right, so I just want to say thank you for joining my live. It was fun. I love each and every one of you. And I just want to say, love you. I will see you next Monday on chapter 1, verse 11, deep dive. So talk to you guys later.